This is KGW News at 5.
Good to see you, everybody. I'm Galen Edlin. We begin tonight with hope. The latest report from the CDC shows Oregon's suicide rate dropped in 2020. Our Christelle Kumwe joins us now. Now, Christelle, this is obviously promising news, but Oregon's rate is still above the national average.
The state is one of several that experienced a decrease in 2020 compared to 2019. Oregon had the nation's 13th highest suicide rate across all ages in 2020, down from the 9th the year before. Suicide prevention groups say it's a small victory and there's much more work to do. It's a glimmer through the darkness.
What we saw is people learning new ways to find strength, new ways to find hope, and new ways to find help.
Oregon is one of 7 states to see lower suicide rates in 2020, and early data show 2021 is on the same track for even lower rates.
This is incredibly important because it means that Oregon will see a 3-year decreasing trend in youth suicide, and that has to matter and it has to be celebrated.
Jill Baker with the Oregon Health Authority thinks awareness and lower stigma around mental health made a difference.
Mental health has been talked about in all places and spaces, and so there's something protective about knowing that you can say, I'm not okay.
While Oregon is headed in the right direction, the state's suicide rate is still above the national average.
We're not done.
OHA works with other groups like Matchstick Consulting to prevent suicide in Oregon.
Matchstick Consulting helps to implement sources of strength statewide.
Sources of Strength is a suicide prevention program in schools. It trains peer leaders to help other students.
They represent it by race and ethnicity and gender and sexual orientation, class, but also social diversity.
Experts say those students can relate and reach their peers better than anyone else, directing them to support resources. The program has trained more than 600 youth across 35 Oregon schools in 15 counties.
We know for suicide prevention programming to be effective among young people have to be at the table.
In the dark fight against mental health crisis and suicide, each new group on board offers a light.
We feel really encouraged that we're headed in the right direction, in a better direction, and that has to do with a lot of really hard work from a lot of really amazing people.
We'll have more information about the resources on our website, KGW.com.
Such important work, and as you said, lots more to do. Christelle, thank you. This is also the suicide prevention hotline if you need it. That's 1-800-273-8255. And as Christelle said, we've linked many more resources on KGW.com. All right, so in the meantime, the U.S. Coast Guard is looking for a fishing boat that sank this morning off the Oregon coast with 2 people on board. The Coast Guard received a Mayday call around 12 this morning from Mike Morgan, the vessel's operator. Morgan said a woman working with him was also on board and said his boat was sinking about 35 miles offshore from Florence. When a helicopter arrived, crews spotted debris and a life raft, but crews had to return briefly to base because of heavy fog in that area. They are now searching a 21 square mile area around there and plan to look through the night. Washington State Patrol says one person is dead from trying to walk across all lanes of traffic on I-5 in Clark County. The 55-year-old left a car on I-5 north of West Pioneer, and that person began to cross the lanes but got hit by a car and died. Well, as fighting in Ukraine continues, President Joe Biden told a crowd in Europe this war is a battle of a generation in the fight for democracy.
Today, Russia has strangled democracy, has sought to do so elsewhere, not only in its homeland. Under false claims of ethnic solidarity, it has invalidated neighboring nations. Putin has the gall to say he's denazifying Ukraine. It's a lie. It's just cynical. He knows that. And it's also obscene.
Now, as the president finished his final day in Europe, missile strikes rocked the western Ukrainian city of Lviv near the Polish border. Moscow targeted a fuel depot, sending flames and plumes of black smoke, as you could see, into the air. That strike was close to a military installation, and another strike targeted an aircraft repair facility. Until now, that city was seen as a safe haven where thousands of refugees have passed through into Poland. Meanwhile, President Biden pledged further support for those refugees.
All the world democracies have a responsibility to help, all of them. And the people of Ukraine can count on the United States to meet its responsibility.
President Biden had his strongest words today for Russian President Vladimir Putin and attempted to rally Russians against their leader. He said Putin can no longer remain in power after this invasion and told the Russian people to choose a different path. He did later clarify he is not pushing for a regime change, but rather saying Putin cannot be allowed this kind of power over neighboring countries. And as the war unfolds, Corvallis is supporting its sister city in Ukraine, Uzhhorod. Earlier this month, the Corvallis Sister Cities Association began sending medical supplies and raising money for the city in western Ukraine. Since then, it has transported about 13 suitcases of medical supplies and other items for refugees running from the violence. It also raised about $200,000 through a bank fund and a GoFundMe page. The Corvallis Sister Cities Association says people living in Uzhhorod may be safe where they are now, but they're living in constant fear.
They're just wondering what will happen the next day. Will they wake up to a city that looks like Kharkiv and Kherson? Or will they have their Uzhhorod? It's a beautiful, beautiful city. You know, cobblestone streets, 1,000-year-old history. It's a wonderful place to be.
Now, the organization is also sending pictures from local youth to kids in Ukraine, and it's hosting a series of fundraisers here. We've got a link on our website, KGW.com. Well, the family of a young murder victim wants answers more than 6 months after their loved one was killed in Vancouver. Crime Stoppers is now offering a reward, and police released some new images they hope will help solve this case. Our Tim Gordon has that update.
Tyler Harris was just 19 when he died. Vancouver police say the young man was shot to death at the doorway of his apartment. It happened shortly before midnight last August 29th in the 3500 block of Northeast 50th Court in Vancouver.
He is the oldest out of his siblings, so they miss him very much. And it's been difficult, but we take it day by day.
Tyler's mother, Melissa, says her oldest son had 4 younger siblings, and Tyler was a gem.
Very strong young man, had his life ahead of him, had a wonderful life ahead of him, very smart, very caring, very kind.
Now he's gone, and the case is unsolved. Maybe these newly released images from surveillance video will help. They are of 2 women and a man investigators say are seen in the video knocking on Harris's door. Then moments later, Harris is shot and the 3 people flee. Take a good look. Both women are wearing dark leggings, one with the red and white Fila logo on the side, the other wearing a dark hoodie with what appears to be Washington State Cougar logos. The man is wearing Nike shoes that are white and black on the front and orange and yellow on the back. Tyler's mother had to celebrate her son's birthday without him recently. Now she hopes the images and Crime Stoppers' $2,500 reward offer gives family the gift of closure.
We feel confident that with that footage and with the help of social media, that we will be able to get that out more so that everyone can see that. And hopefully someone knows, or maybe the suspects themselves will come forward and do the right thing. It will bring an end to a lot of emotional pain, and a lot of the why.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.